this is still the weekend show on ABS television. Good morning to you. And of course, it's been from the sports side of life. You know, it was a massive dose of sports this morning, I must say. So we hope that you enjoyed that package on sports. Well, we are back on the weekend show to thrill you and of course to ensure that we don't let you go without all the fun that the weekend can afford.
Yes, weekend show is about the fun, whether sports or entertainment,
or information, education
we bring it
as well
to you in the dose that you need it, and that's what we are doing here. Without sports, I think there is critical issues, and then brought to front burner the encounter by Super Eagles and the expectations on Tuesday. I'm rooting for Super Eagles on Tuesday. We need to get to this.
Absolutely, I'll be upstanding throughout the match as well. But at this point, we'll be talking about something interesting, of course, and something that we all should think about. Think about the menace of drug abuse in the society. And of course, you know, drug abuse is something that has to do with drug addiction as well. You know, those are two terms that you cannot let go when you talk about the criminality in the society and the fact that people do things and they say they did not do it, yes, consciously. So at this point, we'll be joined by someone who is a lecturer and as well a researcher in the area of drug addiction. Sociology of addiction, to be precise. He is Dr. Emeka Dumbili. Doc, it's good to have you on the weekend show.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You know, whenever we talk about issues of drugs like this, it throws up several things. People begin to wonder whether drug is also should be discussed at length. But when we look at the menace, how it's beginning to become a challenge in our society, you see that is important. So we'll begin this way. Tell us, what is hard drugs? When we talk about hard drugs, what does it mean?
Hard drugs entail nicotine or narcotic substance. These are substances that are not just for everyday use. Actually, they are supposed to be for special use. Yes, for example of hard drugs are cocaine, heroin, and many others. I don't think there's any country in the world presently where cocaine is legalized, and it's always another term we use is illicit substance. Exactly. So these are some of the examples of hard drugs. They are not supposed to be used for. Some of them are used for medicinal purpose by experts, like medical doctors or pharmacists that produce drugs. They're not just for everyday consumption.
But then, Doc, not to cut you short, you know, we know, of course, that these hard drugs, the marijuana and the likes, everybody knows they are actually hard drugs. And nobody wants to even, most people that are critical about drug abuse can't even stand them. You know, but then we're talking about addictions that are pseudo, kind of not conscious, things that people sniff, that people don't see as drugs. So can you give us an indication of some of these things that are seen as commonplace but are actually very effective?
There's this example of stuff we sniff in Nigeria. In the local language, we call it otaba.
Otaba?
Yes, it's drug because it contains nicotine. There's this one that they don't sniff but they smoke, shisha. It's drug. Recently, we began to hear that people even sniff toilets. So it's just to get the pleasure, the high, and many other substances. Of course, they do it for different reasons. There are many, because we call them in our term motives for drug use. People use them for different kinds of different motives. Maybe as we go on, we'll be talking about the motives for drug consumption.
Exactly. Now, we can see on the screen projections of some of the things. This is shisha. And sometime, I think that was over the week or 2 weeks past, we put up a post on Bold Niger regarding shisha. Because there was it was in the news that shisha had been banned. And then, I know, of course, I had an encounter where at a party, people were using, sniffing shisha, and they told me it was nothing. actually, you know, and it seemed enjoyable and everybody wanted to take a sniff. So we will be looking at the comments so that you can lend your views to some of the things that people are saying regarding that, shisha to be precise. Yeah, we also know that the Lagos state government has also come out strongly against drug use, saying that it encourages criminality. So, Doc, do you think that all of these things that are considered not so addictive, or rather not so hard, that it doesn't high? I know somebody told me that shisha doesn't high. Does it high? I mean, in that regard, does it make people feel high and make them act?
Of course it does, because it contains nicotine. In Nigeria, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have licit and illicit drugs.
Okay.
In substance research, we call them gateway drugs, like alcohol is a gateway drug. Then cigarette is part of gateway drug, one of the gateway drugs. People use them, and with time, some people begin to use the hard drugs. It starts from the alcohol consumption, like the other one, shisha, cigarette, and it goes on to using some
from the ones
light.
And
yes.
You know, they want something
higher. Yes, actually,
and that's how they progress over time.
Definitely, like someone said, if I want to be high, I take alcohol. If I want to be higher, I take the harder drugs.
Okay.
Really, I think that's from a researcher.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, of course. I know he's really done lots of researches in that regard. So we're going to take comments on what people are saying regarding shisha, to be precise, because of course that's still in the news, it's in the public domain that the government is coming out hard against the use of shisha. So can we see some of the things that people are saying regarding shisha? Yeah, as we go ahead to interact. Yeah, someone says, this one is from Umez Esther, and of course we were actually saying, should this ban be encouraged? And Umez Esther wrote, I strongly agree with you. Nowadays, even very young ones, as young as you, wouldn't believe that they smoke this thing called shisha. So if it's possible that it be banned. Then T. Simon Emeka says it really should be banned. Izuchukwu Sylvester says, good news. Actually, they are applauding the move to ban shisha.
Okay, we have this from God First, Chibi Onyi. I'm with you on this, Joe. The way our youth take it, you think is unharmful, but it's very, very harmful to their health. Umez Esther also commented again and said, I strongly agree with you. Nowadays, even very young stars. Okay, I think we've taken that
one
before.
as well. Can we have more on the shisha use? Okay, this one says, it's from Victor Rains Chooks Ume, says, my dear, I'm with you. Shisha is dangerous for health. And this one says, she is Plana Obianuju Michael, says, I stand with you that shisha should be banned. That thing has one spirit that follows it. I sat close to a lady in one of the clubs somewhere in Lagos before the shisha was brought. She was so quiet. Immediately she took it, come and see dance. I was like, what the? Imagine such effects so fast. I beg, that thing should be banned, Biko. Thank you so much, everyone who reacted to that. So, Doc, what can you say regarding this? Yeah, you can actually read the comments as we go on while Doc reacts to those.
Well, what they said is right. The banning of this substance should be encouraged.
Okay.
But the issue is not just banning the substance, like I also commented. The issue is monitoring how it's produced, because if you don't regulate the availability of this substance, people will continue to use it. And if you ban, I heard the Minister for Health said they should not just ban it, but arrest users. If you ban this substance and also begin to arrest users, people will go and hiding to use it, and it becomes more dangerous. In fact, the substance is very dangerous. Like in 2016, just recently, the World Health Organization data showed that 10 million people died because of the use of alcohol, nicotine, and other substances. So you can imagine 10 million just for 1 year, and it has been projected that the use of these psychoactive substances will continue to grow all over the world. And I'm very, very sure you know that we don't actually have good statistics, good data in Nigeria. So if you add up the data from developing countries, you know the number of people, what it looks like, yes. So it should be banned. I'm not just banning it, they should monitor how it's produced and how people get to use it.
One more question. Why we prefer solutions? In your own thinking, why do you think we're having a proliferation of this? We've heard, we do this program NDLA and you're on radio, where we receive calls, and we discovered that this is even increasing in secondary schools among teenagers. Why do you think this is proliferating, and what's the best solution to this?
There's this culture of intoxication that is fast growing all over the world. It's not only in Nigeria, actually, because in some Western countries, there is this thing they call the new psychoactive substance. Like we have cannabis, people are using cannabinoid, there is the synthetic substance. So it's growing. People see it, follow the media. The media portrayal is partly one of the reasons why people use it. And this peer pressure, this peer influence, people use it and they tell another person that, look at what I used. And the next person begins to use it. Like we have this tramadol issue that is fast growing. So definitely people, it's growing, it's a recent thing, but we actually need to step up our control system. Remember what I mentioned earlier on. If you don't control the availability of these substances, it will not. People will not stop using them. We don't have policies. I don't know whether you know that we don't have any policies like alcohol in Nigeria. So it will continue to, if we don't regulate the availability.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you, Doc.
Yes, we've been speaking with Dr. Emeka Dumbili. He is a researcher and his specialist area is sociology of addiction. Thank you so much, Doc. We'll definitely bring you back on the show because there's so much, to talk about regarding this issue.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's where we have to peg it today on the weekend show. Thank you so much to everyone who helped this happen. I am Ifeinwa Aron.
And I am David Obwase, also encouraging you to find another alternative means of finding happiness, find places to go and recreate instead of resorting to drugs to get happy. That's it from me, David Obwase, with you.
Have a great weekend. Bye now.